Hello, hello. Welcome to Anne of the Island. I keep forgetting which book we're going to be talking about. Welcome to those that are here on the live and those that are going to watch the recording. I'm excited to talk about this book. I'm sorry that I waited longer than I meant to talk about it, but we are here today to chat about Anne of the Island. Definitely one of my favorites. I still can't really decide between Anne of Green Gables, Anne of the Island, and Rilla of Ingleside. So I'm curious to hear those that are here right now. How many times have you read Anne of the Island? Has it been more than once? And if so, did you have thoughts that changed? Let me know if you're here. Let me know, where does Anne of the Island fall? Is it a favorite? Is it not a favorite? Let me know. I am not having a co-host today, partially, mostly just because I was not really good at setting this up earlier, so I didn't have anyone to ask. I also had less people, understandably, that were interested in talking about the books after the first Anne book, maybe because they didn't know what they would think, but definitely a favorite of mine. Welcome here, Stephanie. First time reading it and you loved it. That's great. I'm so glad. It's a fun one. I feel like there's a lot of good stuff going on, so I'm excited to talk about it. Hey, Lisa. Yes. Woo. So you saw it 30 minutes ago? Perfect. Yeah, I don't know. March felt mentally busy. I wasn't busy with things physically. And so I didn't finish reading the book in time, and then I just left it too long. So here we are. You read the whole series last year. That's fun. You read Anne of the Island again recently, read as a teen, enjoyed this time. Don't have much memory of the first read. Yeah, that's totally understandable. I remember almost nothing that I read as a teenager, partially because they were all the same book, just kind of rewritten. All I was reading was Christian suspense, pretty much, and it was kind of all just the same stuff over again. So I have some questions and things we can talk about tonight, and then I want to end with some favorite quotes. So I want you guys to be thinking of some favorite quotes from the book. Second time reading wasn't a favorite. I found it okay. That's totally fair. The funny thing about the Anne books, I find, is that I think that your feelings are probably similar to Lucy Maud Montgomery's feelings, whereas everyone, a lot of people love the series, and she was just sick of it herself. So I get it. Hey, Catherine, it's your second favorite after the first book. That's good. Okay. So, if you have not read the book and you are here, we will get into spoilers fairly quickly. So just be prepared. We'll try to talk a little bit non-spoilery to start. I don't have a ton to say about the book, but I mean, also it's a third book in a series, so it's kind of spoilery to the first two books. But Anne of the Island, she's away at university. I really love the fact that L.M. Montgomery, we're just going to call her Maud. Her whole name is such a mouthful. She writes all of her books, most of them at least, over the course of multiple years. And I just feel like that is just not done anymore. And I like it because we get to see our character grow throughout the book. So starting off, She goes to university. The first year she is across from a cemetery, which speaks to me as someone that loves to walk through cemeteries. And she meets a new friend. So her and Priscilla are at this house, and then they meet Philippa. I don't really know how to say it. Anyway, I'm curious to know your guys' thoughts on her as a character. In some ways, I think I wrote this somewhere, and am I going to find it now? She kind of reminds me of younger Anne. Where was it? I remember? Here we go. I was going to say, I remember which part of the page I wrote this on. Right before chapter 11. She said, "If you won't let me cast my lot in with you," this is when they were going to rent Patty's place, I think it was called, "I'll die of the disappointment, and then I'll come back and haunt you." And that there, I was like, she reminds me of a less sunshiny, sunny version of young Anne. That's what I wrote down. Curious if you guys have thoughts on her as a character. She is, I feel like, fairly unique to a Maud character in the fact that she appears very self-centered, but she's a character we're supposed to like. Whereas I feel like normally when she writes characters like that, we are not supposed to like them. So she feels like a little bit of an anomaly that way. And I mean, we learn over time that she's not as shallow as she comes across, but that is how she comes across. Okay, this is a quote. I guess we're gonna go over some quotes at the end, but because this also happened to be right around then when they rent Patty's place, and we're talking to Miss Patty, and she says, "I'm 70 years old, but I'm not tired of living yet." I wrote #goals. I dare say I'd have gone to Europe before if the idea had occurred to me. It's definitely occurred to me. We shall be away for 2 years, perhaps 3. I can't wait to say those words to someone. I wrote, the dream. That's fun. So, to me, one of the biggest parts of this book is all the proposals that Anne gets. And immediately after reading the book, I had my Patreon book club, and we were talking about how many proposals she gets, and I forgot because there's so many, and yet there's even more than I remembered. She felt overly dramatic when expressing her emotions. Totally. Yes, 100%, which reminds me of young Anne. So speaking of proposals, we're going to get into all the proposals. So if you have not read the book and you don't want to know who all proposes to Anne, you might not want to watch the next bit. So she gets 6 proposals, which I know that Maud herself got quite a few. I don't remember how many, but it just cracks me up that guys were just proposing left and right. Like, how many times did the average guy in this area back then, how many proposals did he do before he found someone to marry? And how many proposals did the average girl get? It cracks me up that some of them were so out of the blue, like just all of a sudden this person's saying, "Hey, I'm gonna get this house. You want to come marry me and live there?" So now let's see if I can remember all her proposals. They probably won't be in order. We had Gil. We had Charlie Sloane. We had Sam, the hired hand. We had Roy. We have Gil again. And now I forgot one again. Did I write it down during our... who am I missing? Surely there's someone, because there's supposed to be 6 proposals. And I didn't write them down. I stayed on for the Patreon chat, thinking I hadn't read it, but I totally read it only last year. That's funny. That's funny. So, have you finished the series, Lindsay? That's so funny. I mean, you were in the newborn, just you can use like baby brain as an excuse, for sure. I'm totally forgetting a proposal though. That's gonna bother me. But there was 6. I'm curious to know which proposal, I don't know, did you like the most? Which one was the funniest? Like, which one stuck out to you the most? I think most people are Team Gil, so I'm assuming most people like were rooting for him. Yeah. Oh, I remember the other one. The other one was the girl that proposed for her brother, the girl from Avonlea, whose name I don't remember. Okay, so this is the last one. You thought you would finish the previous book, but you'd read this one. Okay. I think the hired boy was the funniest. Yeah. I mean, I try to picture myself in. Yes, yeah, you totally got it. It was Jane. That's right. She proposed for her brother, like Billy or something. But the hired boy, I think his name was Sam. That one cracked me up. Like, I had read this book just a couple years ago, not that long ago, and I had totally forgotten about his proposal. And then there he was, just sitting on the fence. I have too many tabs. Like, I can't find certain things because there's just too many tabs. He's just sitting on the fence and like, hey, I'm gonna buy a house and I need a woman to keep the house for me. Will you? I don't even know if he says like, will you marry me? He just like, will you come do my dirty work for me? Like, oh, that cracked me up so much. And I just imagine, like, if you were like literally in that situation, I would just like curl up in myself and disappear and not, I got a cat hair in my face, not have to respond to that. That was funny. Yes, it was Jane that proposed for her brother, and then she was so offended that Anne, this orphan, was too good for her brother. And then the next thing you know, her brother is married to like Nettie someone or other. It was like, it was a toss-up between Anne and her. Oh, so funny. Oh yeah, okay, I found that. I found the one where Jane proposes for Billy. Well, you've made your decision, Anne, and I hope you won't regret it. Oh, poor Jane. Oh, it won't break his heart. Billy has too much good sense for that. He likes Nettie Blewett just as pretty well too. Oh, awkward. Hired boy was super awkward. Yeah. Definitely both of Gilbert's proposals. Oh, this is the hired boy. Will you have me? I think that's right, Lindy. I can't find that one right now. But that is, yeah, it was like, wow, so romantic. And then I think that it was possibly then that she totally lost all her faith in marriage proposals being romantic. But yes, Gilbert. Let's see. Thoughts on Anne's thoughts on Gilbert from the beginning of the book to the end. At the beginning, she like, I keep noticing myself saying like a lot. I don't know how to stop that. In the beginning, she was trying to avoid Gil because she knows that he wanted more from the relationship, and she fully believed she didn't, except sometimes where she was like, oh, maybe I do. And then she tried to like stuff that down and pretend she didn't feel it. And then she thought that he was interested in that girl, Christine Stewart, who ends up actually, she's engaged to a different guy. He's just like being friendly, as Gilbert would be. Her and her rose leaf complexion, starry violet eyes, raven hair. Yes, she has it all. So Anne, tries to like, here I go saying like again, pretend she doesn't have these feelings for Gil. And then he gets sick. And she realizes that she has been a fool. I'm curious. Oh, okay, wait a second. Sorry. Let's go. I just found the hired hand bit. And yes, Lindy, you're totally right here. Except it was will YEH have me. It's even worse. Do you mean marry you? Yeah, but why, I'm hardly acquainted with you, cried Anne. But yet you'd get acquainted with me after we was married. Oh, poor Anne. That's so sad. Yeah, so Gilbert gets sick. Where is he sick? At the end. And seems like as soon as he finds out that Anne had said no to Roy, is that his name? I think so. Then he makes a miraculous recovery. Let's see if I can find that. And then we get to his final proposal, and it's, I have a dream, he said slowly. I persist in dreaming it, although it has often seemed to me that it could never come true. I dream of a home with a hearth fire in it, a cat and a dog, the footsteps of friends, and you. And then he says, I asked you a question over 2 years ago, Anne. If I ask it again today, will you give me a different answer? So, I mean, she doesn't get a whole lot of guys just saying, like, will you marry me? But Gilbert's proposal is definitely better than will you have me? I just feel uncomfortable just thinking about it. Definitely Gilbert's proposal goes down as much better than Sam the hired hand's proposal. Okay, we've got tears for Gilbert, laughs for Sam. So sweet. When was this written again? Yes, the dream thing totally does also remind me of that. I think it's 1915. So she is writing actually, well, I don't know how long she wrote it before it got published, but we are like World War I here ish. And then Rilla, I think Rilla's the only one that the war, from my memory, actually comes up in. And I don't remember when that one was written. Okay, what about Roy? I keep saying his name and then wondering if that's actually his name. I'm pretty sure it is. Trying to find it. Him and Anne dated for 2 years, maybe, or so. And she firmly believes she's in love. She's not just playing. Okay, yeah, it is Roy. Thank you, Lindy. She's not just playing with him or trying to make Gilbert jealous or anything like that. Anne's an honest girl. But as he's proposing, she realizes she does not love him. She's got away with writing. It does not feel like it is that long ago. He proposes and she realizes she doesn't love him and she refuses him. And he doesn't, he's sad. He doesn't seem all too heartbroken, so I don't feel too bad. I think that Maud did a good job of making Roy maybe a little too perfect, but also kind of bland at the same time. And because generally we've all already hoped that she will end up with Gilbert, so we've got him there waiting for her. But it never feels like Roy is that great of a guy, thankfully. She didn't write him too fleshed out or interesting, or he wasn't that kindred spirit character. As I'm flipping through looking for different things, this is multiple times I've come across this. She was building a castle in the air. I love that description. As someone that likes to daydream a bit, it's a really good description. Oh, this is where Gilbert said, "Things can't go on like this any longer, Anne. I love you. You know I do. I can't tell you how much. Will you promise me that someday you'll be my wife?" This is fairly far into the book. And then she says, "No, she'll never love him like that. You must never speak to me like that again." I thought that was closer to the beginning of the book. Yeah, Roy felt boring and not Anne's equal. I think he was well written in the fact that he was a little believable, for the time, but he didn't have anything that made him special. Yeah. Let's see here. What about the Ruby Gillis side story that happened there? Thoughts? Was there a purpose to it? Any thoughts on that? I always get all the girls that Anne went to school with, other than Diana, mixed together. Can I even remember any of the other names right now? No. But they were all kind of just a group. They're just a general one entity. But in this one, Ruby becomes her own person as she is dying. And there is another Maud book. I don't know if I should say. I don't want to spoil anything. Where there is a character, and it's through the entire book, that character is not long for this world. I can't remember how she words things, but you just know that this one sweet in the other book, this one sweet character is never going to grow up. And I feel like the Ruby parts of this book make me feel like that. You can tell right from when it mentions that Ruby is sick, that she's not going to make it. And it's very interesting to me that she made Ruby out to be ignoring how ill she was at the beginning. And I don't know if, I mean, she had some really good conversations, or that one really good conversation with Anne, which I will try to find where, well, I can see if I can talk into it. Ruby is scared of dying. And she kind of just pretends it's not going to happen. She tries to be super bubbly and, oh yeah, there we go. There's some of it. Except, yes, I think there was a comment about how everyone knew Ruby was dying except Ruby. And she would always talk about the guy she's going to marry and like all these future plans, and how, she's going to teach school, but she's just going to put it off for a little bit. And it isn't until the very end that she admits it. And I think Maud does such a good job with that one evening where Ruby finally admits to Anne that she knows she's going to die. And they have such a great conversation. I love how Ruby is honest, and she knows she's going to heaven. She knows it's a better place, but she can fully admit, what does she say? Heaven must be very beautiful. Of course, the Bible says so. But Anne, it won't be what I've been used to. I thought that was really good. And then so was Anne's reaction. And we had just watched Gavin Ortland has a video about heaven. How it's, was it like, are we going to eat in heaven or something like that? I can't remember exactly what it is. It's on YouTube, and we had just watched that. And then reading Anne's reply was perfect. She says, I think perhaps we have very mistaken ideas about heaven, what it is and what it holds for us. I don't think it can be so very different from life here as most people seem to think. I believe we'll just go on living a good deal as we live here and just be ourselves, just the same. Only it will be easier to be good and to follow the highest. All the hindrances and perplexities will be taken away, and we shall see clearly. Don't be afraid, Ruby. And I underlined a bunch of things there, highlighted things. Yeah, I thought that scene was very well written. Also, there's a bunch of fire trucks going by right now, so not sure if you can hear that, but that's happening. So I wasn't partial to Ruby before this. I didn't remember Ruby much specifically, but I really enjoyed that scene. So not enjoyed it, like on the next page or so, Ruby dies. So this is Anne walking home that night in the moonlight, and when she came to the end of one life, it must not to be faced the next with the shrinking terror of something wholly different, something for which accustomed thought and ideal and aspiration had unfitted her. The little things of life, sweet and excellent in their place, must not be the things lived for. The highest must be sought and followed. The life of heaven must be begun here on earth. I thought that was very well done. Oh yeah, and this is also the book where Anne, she gets to see her childhood home, like her very young childhood home, where she was as a baby, where her parents died, and she got a couple letters that her parents had written back and forth to each other. Her parents' names were Walter and Bertha, I think, and I remember her just loving those names, which is funny because they're not common names right now, but she just thinks that they're so wonderful. And I love that she was able to get a piece of her childhood, really early years, have some kind of memento from her parents. Do you guys have any other things you loved, thoughts? I just have a couple of quotes, so if you have any quotes you want to share. I mean, obviously, I tapped lots of things. I only wrote 3 quotes down in my commonplace book, mostly because sometimes I just really get caught up in the reading and I don't want to stop to write things down. But I will read those, and I also, on this page here at the bottom, I said, this is Anne talking about Old St. John's, the graveyard. I don't know that a graveyard is a very good place to go get cheered up, but it seems that the only get-at-able place where there are trees. And trees I must have. I'll sit on one of those old slabs and shut my eyes and imagine I'm in the Avonlea woods. And I've really realized in the last couple of years that trees I must have too. There is, multiple people have sent me this reel on Instagram about this lady that likes graveyards. It cracks me up. I've reshared it a few times. I'm going to see if I can find it actually. Do you think I can find it? Probably not. But it cracks me up because she looks like a crazy lady that... Oh, here it is. Yeah. Okay. Here, I'll play this for you guys if I can.
Sometimes I like to go for walks in graveyards. Sometimes I like to go for walks in graveyards.
And that's me. And that's what I'm going to be in the future, just this lady that walks in graveyards. I mean, that's really what I am now. So I like Anne in the fact that she likes to walk in the graveyards as well. Some of my favorite quotes throughout the book start right at the beginning. Revenge hurts nobody quite so much as the one who tries to inflict it. That was on page 13. Oh, this is a good point. Anne feels very Charlotte Mason-like. This is like the same time period because Charlotte Mason was kind of right around that time, so that would make sense. Plus, the east coast of Canada, I feel like, has a lot of similarities to England, so I get that. This is a conversation between Gilbert and Anne. I think she was talking about how she's going to go to university for 4 years, and Gilbert says, and after those 4 years, what? And then Anne's reply, oh, there's another bend in the road at their end, answered Anne lightly. I've no idea what may be around it. I don't want to have. It's nicer not to know. And I think that's interesting as we go through life. There's always bends in roads. Like sometimes you know you're on a path to do this one thing for a certain amount of time, but there's always going to be a bend because you know something's always going to come up, whether you're going to university for 4 years or you're just living the same life. There's always bends in the road. And I feel like because we've had so many life changes in the past year. I really feel like I relate to this on a deep level. There was a bend for when we moved here that I didn't see coming, and I have no idea where the next few years are going to go. So I really can understand this, and it's sometimes it'd be nice to know what's around the bend, especially if you're a bit of a planner. At the same time, when there's a hard road around the bend, I'd rather not know that. And so it's nice not to know. It's exciting to be like, what could be around the bend? And also a little terrifying, but thankfully we're not the one that create our own path. And the other quote I wrote, oh, this one's really good. Perfect for this time of year. Spring is singing in my blood today, and the lure of April is abroad on the air. I'm seeing visions and dreaming dreams. That has been like my quote for the month. The weather has been spectacular here, and the lure of April is great, and dreaming dreams is great. If you guys have any quotes that you loved, let me know. Oh, there's a little bit of Davy in here. What happened to Dora? What happened to her? She got hurt. She fell? Why am I... She fell somewhere. Dora fell down the cellar. And Davy was crying because he wasn't there to see her fall. I'm always missing some fun or other, it seems to me. And then Anne kind of yells at him. She wasn't much hurt. Of course, if she'd been killed, I'd have been real sorry. Oh, Davy. I honestly am not a huge Davy fan. I don't know. He just annoys me. But he is funny. He is funny. I'll give him that. That was a laugh out loud moment for sure. And then I gave a heart to Anne and Diana talking. Everything is changing or going to change, said Diana sadly. I have a feeling that things will never be the same again. We have come to a parting the ways, I suppose, said Anne thoughtfully. We had to come to it. Do you think, Diana, that being grown up is really as nice as we used to imagine it would be when we were children? I suppose we'll get used to being grown up in time, said Anne cheerfully. There won't be so many unexpected things about it by and by. Though, after all, I fancy it's the unexpected things that give spice to life. Each time Davy said, I want to know, I had to laugh. Totally. Except I'm in that space with a kid right now. And so also I just want to scream because I'm like, stop saying that. I found Anne annoying but love Davy. Oh, yeah. How do we have similar reading tastes at all? That's fair. Being grown up isn't as great as we thought. Yeah. Especially when there's like something going wrong. And I just want to look around and be like, where's the adult? Not like, oh yeah, I am the adult, but where's my mom? Can she come clean up my mess? Or something like that. There's really something nice to being young and not being a grown-up. For sure. Okay. I think that's all I had to say about Anne of the Island. If you guys have anything else to add to the chat. Did I miss something? I think I kind of went over most of it. There's the whole side love story between people's names that I won't remember. I'm so bad at names. When she went to go teach for a summer. I don't know what their names were. that part to me, I mean, that's when the hired hand proposed to her, but I didn't feel like there was a whole lot added from that. I'm almost 50 and always saying I need an adult. Yeah. Okay. So that's just life now. I get it. Okay. I started this series with this book when I was a kid. Oh, interesting. I really wish that I would have read these as a kid in many ways, but I didn't. I think the first time I read Anne of Green Gables, I was right around 30. Maybe not quite 30, but yeah. And then I read them all in the last few years. In the last 5 years, sometime after I started BookTube. Already watched The Megan Follows, Anne of Green Gables, and Anne of the Island. Yeah. I watched those as a kid, but never picked up the books. I don't know why. Like, I read so much. Oh, yeah. The Porcelain Dogs. That's right. Gog and Magog. I totally thought they were going to get broken too because they were so important. And because Patty loved them so much, even if I would have loved them, I would have asked for them to get put away so that we wouldn't break them. Right. Anne of Green Gables and Anne of Avonlea, the Megan Follows ones. Oh, yeah. I watched Anne of Green Gables again this fall. I don't know the last time I watched Anne of the Island. I should do that. No, I mean, yeah, no, I'm saying it wrong. Anne of Avonlea, the second movie. And then I don't know if I've ever actually watched the third. I'm pretty sure I bought all of them years ago on the, what is the app? Sylvan Media app or whatever. But I don't know if I've ever watched number 3. So we will wrap things up there with Anne of the Island. Next up is Anne of Windy Poplars, which there was a line in this book that perfectly described the cover of this book. I thought that was funny. It's talking about it's raining. Anne put up her umbrella and hurried down the slope. As she turned out on the harbor road, a savage gust of wind tore along it. Instantly, her umbrella turned wrong side out and clutched it in despair. And that's what I was like, this is this. And that is when she met Roy, right? Yes. That was a very beautiful meeting, gotta say. Isn't the second movie a blend of books 2 to 4? It's multiple. I don't remember which ones. And then I think movie 3 is totally different, if I remember correctly. Like, I know the general idea behind movie 3. And I don't think it really follows the books at all. But the second movie, I think, is a blend of a few. I just don't know which ones. Okay. Well, thanks for joining me for Anne of the Island. We will see if I keep doing lives for each book. Definitely reading Anne of Windy Poplars this month. I have a ton of dog ear spots in here from my last read through. So I'll tab it up this time. And let me know if you guys want a live for the next one or not, and we'll go from there. So have a wonderful evening. Thanks so much for joining me. And yeah, let me know if you want to watch a live for the next one.